If your self-worth completely depends on someone else's attention, love, or affection, you will never feel chosen. How could you? You don't even choose yourself. And before you get defensive, let me be clear about something, okay? This is not about wanting love. It's about needing external validation to regulate your nervous system and calling that romance. Okay, there is a humongous difference. One feels warm, the other one feels like it's urgent. Okay, one expands you, the other keeps you performing. And most people spend their entire lives confusing the second one for the first. Today, we're gonna break this down though. Why does being chosen never actually calm you? How self-abandonment gets mistaken for maturity, and why overgiving feels noble but keeps you anxious. And we're not stopping it inside, people. You know me, okay? You know it's not how I roll. You're gonna learn exactly how to interrupt this pattern in real time using internal family systems, not through affirmations or cutting everybody off, but through small, repeatable actions that teach your nervous system something new. I'm on my own side. I choose myself, okay? It's a game changer when you can start to believe that, okay? Because the moment you stop auditioning for love at your own expense, being chosen stops feeling like oxygen and starts to feel like alignment. By the way, I'm Cody. I've got a degree in cognitive neuroscience. I'm trained in trauma therapy called internal family systems, and I study this stuff for a freaking living. Over 1 million women trust me to help them navigate breakups and heartbreak to prepare them for modern dating, because I say the hard things, but I do it with love and I do it with science, okay? Let's dive into this bad boy. We're gonna get started by talking about the quiet ways that you abandon yourself first, okay? Because most people don't sell themselves out in dramatic ways, like myself included, totally. They do it subtly, politely, maybe even with a smile. I know that that's me, at least, right? And some of the times that you're doing it is when you are staying quiet to keep the peace. You downplay your needs so that you're easy to love. You say yes while your body is screaming no. You accept breadcrumbs and rename it patience. You over-explain so they don't leave. Okay, every time you do this, you're teaching your nervous system one core rule. I don't choose me unless someone else chooses me first. That's the program. And once that's installed, you don't want to be chosen. You need to be chosen. And I get it, okay? I have been there. But have you ever wondered why being chosen never actually calms you? Have you ever wondered this, okay? You know what I'm talking about probably. Like, you've been chosen before, at least for a moment. Maybe they text more, they commit a little bit, they say the right words, they affirm you or something like that and give you a little breadcrumb. And yet you don't relax. Right? You don't. You want more reassurance, more proof, more certainty, more intensity, right? I don't know if anyone else is thinking like, WTF, dude, like what the hell? I got what I wanted. Why do I still feel this way? Okay. I know I have asked this question 1,000,000 times myself, and my clients ask this all the time. Okay. I wish I could tell you the truth behind this wasn't freaking brutal, but it is. So I'm going to say it really gently. You were not chosen. Okay. You were tolerated at the cost of yourself. Your nervous system doesn't register safety when love is earned by erasing yourself. It registers conditional survival, which means even when you get them, you're already bracing to lose them. It sucks, okay? It's not intimacy. That's anxiety with hope sprinkled on top, ladies. And I hate sprinkles. If you're ready to get just even more uncomfortable, we're not even done yet, because you're not even bonded to who they are. You're bonded to the imagined future where they finally realize what they have. They step up, they commit, they see your worth. But you're loyal to the potential, not the pattern. You're sold on what could be, not what is, which is why you'll tolerate inconsistency, emotional unavailability, and breadcrumbs dressed up as growth, because walking away would mean admitting something devastating to the part of you that learned love early. Effort doesn't create desire. It only hides the absence of it. And if you've built your identity around, if I do enough, I'll be chosen, that truth feels like free fall, okay? It's hard to understand that effort doesn't do that. Just be doing and achieving, you can't achieve that, right? And so accepting that, you're just like, what the hell, where's the floor? Okay, so take a couple deep breaths, because I know this is a lot. Okay, I wish I could say that it's going to get easier from here, but we are just getting started, because overfunctioning is not love either. It is labor. Listen to that again. Let me guess. You don't just show up in these relationships we've been talking about. You overfunction in them. You want to be chosen so badly. You're overfunctioning, not just showing up. You prove your value, show extreme loyalty early on, manage their stress, their chaos, their wounds, plus your own, if you even do, without sacrificing your own stress and chaos and your own wounds and working on those. You're adding in theirs, okay? You become low maintenance, easy understanding. You're swallowing disappointment and calling it maturity, which on the outside makes you look like the dream partner. On the inside, though, your nervous system is absolutely cooked. It is negotiating, if I do enough, I'll earn safety. False, okay? That's not love, dude. That is emotional freaking capitalism, and no amount of bleeding turns into security, okay? Sorry about it. This has never worked. It will never work, okay? You cannot earn safety with someone who doesn't choose you. You can't outperform someone else's avoidance, love someone into capacity, sacrifice enough to become irreplaceable. And the more that you try, the less chosen you feel, because your body is clocking the risk the whole time. If I have to earn this, I could also lose it at any freaking moment. It's not safe, right? Literally, that again is not romance. It is a threat response loop in your nervous system. Okay. So what I choose you really sounds like when I dig into people's brains a little bit here is please don't leave me. Okay. That's really what's going on. And that we're starting to inch into the core wound, which we're going to talk about here, like what's actually underneath this desire to be chosen in a second. Okay. And so by now, most people are kind of like, okay, totally get it, Cody. What do I do now? What can I actually do outside of just nodding along to this video? I'm so glad you asked, imaginary viewers that I talked to in my mind. You know I've got you. Okay. Here's a 3-step process that you can start to use to choose yourself today. All right. These are the 3 steps you need to take to rewire your self-abandonment wound. Okay. It's time to move out of the nodding and into rewiring, baby. Okay. And don't miss the bonus step. It is only here. So don't miss bonus step number 4. Okay. Step number 1 though, is you got to catch self-abandonment in real time. So ask yourself this question throughout the day, especially when you're in a relationship. What am I about to do that costs me just to keep connection? That's it. Don't fix it yet. If the answer is anything like not speaking up, overgiving, people pleasing, betraying a boundary, congratulations. You didn't fail. You found the wound, which we need. We got to build this awareness because awareness interrupts the loop before willpower ever could. Okay. Speaking of willpower, step number 2 is starting to choose yourself in these little micro reps, right? Less willpower is needed when you use micro reps. If you try to do it all at once, that's when people start to really mess up because you don't need dramatic exits. You don't need to blow up the relationship. You don't need to, like, again, cut everyone off. Like, that's just not necessary. Your nervous system learns through repetition, not declarations, not these huge, giant single events. It's repeated things over time. It's the compounding effect of doing these things. So just start with some small stuff. Say, let me think about that instead of just the auto yes. Share a mild preference, even if it feels unnecessary. Like say, I don't like to plan last minute. I like to hear that you miss me. Those little tiny things are so powerful, and little tiny preferences, you can start to watch behavior, right? Or you could state a boundary without explaining it. You could pause before responding or instead of performing. Okay. These are self-choice micro reps. They're boring, they're unsexy, and it's exactly how safety is built. That is how your nervous system changes. New repeated experiences. Okay. Number 3, you got to remove effort that isn't being met. This is a big one. And this is not manipulation. It's data. Match effort. Don't exceed it. This is not to punish, not to test, but to just see what's actually mutual. If pulling back even slightly makes the connection collapse, it wasn't fragile. It was subsidized by you. So match the effort that's being put in. Make sure you're checking in on reciprocity. And if the types of people that I worked with were takers, I would be giving slightly different advice. I'm generally working with people who are givers that get taken advantage of by takers. So your problem is not taking more than you give. Your problem is not reciprocity. Your problem is overgiving. And so you've really got to pay attention to this as you get better at tracking reciprocity, because relationships, it makes it feel like it's like a 50-50 thing when it's not really what I'm saying. But at the current moment, it's like 90-10 or 95-5. And so what we've got to do is start to drift that back. So there is some reciprocity going back and forth. And so these little micro reps can help with that. And then removing effort that isn't being met. It never changes. And there's no more effort coming towards you than you're putting in. No shot. Get out of there or express that and create a boundary around that and articulate to them, hey, I noticed that I'm putting in a lot more effort. I'm going to step back a little bit. I'd love to see you match a little bit more so that I can feel loved, wanted, cared for, desired, and articulate that. It's totally valid. Okay. So these are the first 3 steps and they're really nice, but they're not going to get to the root, which is why we need a bonus step, baby. What up? Interrupting our normal programming to announce Mind Brain Body Lab's first sponsor, Apollo Neuro. This tool I have been using for years and I recommend it to all of my clients. Apollo is the only wearable that trains your nervous system to bounce back from stress naturally without pills. Okay, if you fall asleep fast but wake up at 2 a.m. with your mind racing, like I do sometimes, did last night even, or your wearable like Whoop, Apple Watch, or whatever is telling you that you're stressed without actually helping you, this is for you. Apollo doesn't just track your stress and sleep. It acts and is built on a decade of neuroscience research. It learns your stress patterns, calms your nervous system in real time, and helps you stay asleep using subtle vibrations. Users get up to 60 extra minutes of sleep a night, plus 40% less stress and 25% better focus. Apollo was just featured in Forbes for their vagus nerve science, and they just published a randomized pilot study suggesting it's the first wearable that helps prevent burnout. Mind Brain Body Lab subscribers get $99 off. Just hit the link in the description to grab yours. Let's dive back in. The bonus step here is to find the original deal that you made to survive. Once you've started catching self-abandonment in real time, you're choosing the micro reps, you're pulling back effort to make sure that the data is accurate and that there's reciprocity, something uncomfortable generally starts to happen. You'll feel like a drop. It's not necessarily relief. It's not necessarily empowerment yet, but like this drop. And this is the part that most people don't warn you about, because beneath the behavior that we've been talking about, this being chosen behavior, isn't necessarily confidence right away. Oftentimes it's grief. It feels like sadness. It feels like heaviness. Something something that the performing and trying to be chosen and distracting yourself, you've been able to distract yourself from. But the behaviors that we have been talking about so far did not come from nowhere. Okay? They didn't wake up one day and decide to overfunction in love. You adapted. At some point, usually early, your system made a deal that sounded like, if I'm easy, I won't be left. If I don't need much, I won't be a burden. If I stay quiet, I stay connected. If I take care of them, then someone might take care of me. That deal saved you once when you were a kid, probably. But the part that most people don't ever really confront is that you're still generally living by a contract that you signed as a child, which is hard pill to swallow. I totally get it, okay? But adult relationships will keep reopening those wounds because that deal just doesn't work anymore. Your body, your nervous system, your mind just don't understand that yet. You don't understand that it was a kid that made this contract and has started to perform in that way and use that behavior and use that protective mechanism when you were way, way younger. So how do you renegotiate this contract? There's a way to do it with IFS, okay? You don't heal this by affirming it. You heal it by updating the part of you that's still operating on this old information. And you can actually do this. Internal family systems is a beautiful psychotherapy for this because it allows you to go talk to those parts, okay? Because the part that overgives, stays quiet, or performs for love, it's not stupid. It's not sabotaging you. It's just young, okay? And so we've got to update it. So how do you do that? Here are the 4 steps that come from right out of IFS. So the first thing you got to do, step 1, is find the part, not just the story. Okay, so when the urge to self-abandonment starts to show up, pause and just ask, where do I feel this in or around my body? Your chest, your throat, your stomach, your shoulders, your ears? Is it in the front of your face? Do you feel it around your head? Right? Don't analyze it. Just locate it. That sensation, that is the part. That's where it likes to hang out. Okay. Number 2 is you got to unblend from it. You got to separate yourself from the part. Okay, so it's over the top of you right now. We've got to create some space between yourself, your core self, and this part of you because it's completely blended over you. That's why it takes over your behavior. Okay, so say this internally to do this. This is a part of me, not me. Okay, that one sentence creates a little bit of space. So you're no longer inside the reaction. You no longer are the part. It is a part of you. Part of me is anxious. A part of me is nervous. A part of me is avoidant. A part of me is a people pleaser. Use that language. It's extraordinarily powerful. So you stop identifying with these things and you can start to see them for what they are, which is little kids that learn these protective mechanisms, these parts of you. Okay. So now you're with this part. You are not the part anymore. It's a humongous step. It's unblending. Okay. Number 3 is you got to get curious, not corrective yet. That's so important. It's not about correcting them or logicking them. It's about getting curious with this part of you first. Just ask it. What are you afraid would happen if you didn't do this? Do not answer from logic. Okay. Answer from sensation, emotion, and deeper beliefs. Some of the most common answers aren't dramatic, right? They're just quiet. I'll be alone. I'm unlovable. I'd be too much. I'll be in pain. I'd be forgotten. I'm not good enough. No one would choose me. Okay. And just notice how old you feel when you hear these answers. This shows you how old the part is and how old the contract it is, right? It's a really powerful question. And don't overthink this. Okay. As I was going through some of those parts of you might have come up, and just, I would challenge you for a second to pause the video and just, how old did I feel when I heard that? When one of them hit with me, maybe it was, I'd be forgotten. When you heard that, how old did it make you feel? Go with the first number that popped in your head when I asked the question. Okay. So those are the first 3 steps. The last step is where we do the updating. Step 4 is we got to update the part. So now what you're going to do is you're going to place a hand wherever you feel it. Okay. You learned this when I didn't have better options. And I really appreciate you for stepping up for me like that and taking on this role to keep me safe. Pause and then update it. Okay. I'm not that age anymore. Update on how old you actually are. See how it reacts. Okay. I have more capacity now. Bring it up to speed on your life now. The tools, the resources, the things that you have available to you now. Okay. Reassure it. I can survive disappointment without disappearing. I can survive this thing. I can handle this now. Myself has got this. Okay. I appreciate you, but it's okay now. I've got this. It's not hype, not just reassurance. Okay. You're bringing calm, clear, compassionate self energy, that energy that is you to this part. It's not about getting rid of the part. It's about letting it know the truth. This strategy saved us back then. It's costing us now. And we are allowed to choose differently now. This is the rep. It's not necessarily feeling better, not feeling chosen. It's staying present with self-betrayal. This is how the nervous system learns a new rule. I can stay connected to myself and my parts, even if someone else doesn't choose me. And paradoxically, that's when people start choosing you without the auditions. Okay. So it's time to let being chosen be a bonus, not a lifeline, right? Okay. Feeling chosen, it's not something someone gives you. Okay. It's something that lands after your system already knows I'm on my own side. I've got this. I've got my parts. I've got this already. So stop auditioning for love at your own expense. Choose yourself first and then watch how differently everything else lands. You don't need to be chosen. You need to stop self-abandoning yourself. Okay. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, do it now so you never miss a video. And if you want to go deeper on these kinds of topics, you would love my Substack. Check the description below for that. You've got this. I believe in you. Peace.